I did not expect that reception, so Lindsay, you get your money back. You get your money, thank you very much. Thanks everybody for coming back after breakouts. The session we have now is the bring it all together, right? So at the start of today, we talked about the four capabilities within the Conversation Cloud. We talked about all the elements that we were trying to move from individual interactions to an entire experience and journey for your customers. So the next session, Leisha will actually show us, just move this forward, is actually going to bring together all of those products into a scenario. And it's very difficult with an audience that is as diverse as this to find a situation that you can apply to your business and sort of see how each of these products will work in concert. And so importantly, as you're watching the demonstration, and I know having seen the talk track, Felicia, there's individual elements where you'll see a clear handoff. And the intent here is for you to think about what technologies and solutions you have in your business and how they might slot into what we're showing as all four. Because the intention here is that we're building out an entire experience end to end, and we're going to see every element of that, but that you may actually be moving towards an end goal, and you've got some of these solutions already solved in your business. So it's sort of showing you how you can connect all of those pieces together. So the big reveal.
Time.
Do you want to start off?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so before we hop into the live demo, I'm just going to set the scene. So the process that I'm going to step you guys through is a relationship manager at Accordant Wealth Management who is going to help an existing client add a new product. So if you imagine our existing client, John, has recently changed jobs, he's started earning a bit more money, he's thinking about securing his financial future, and he's been in contact with Accordant. But like most of us, John is time poor. And as his new job ramps up and he gets busier, there's a real risk he'll disengage from a process he finds cumbersome. Then we have the relationship manager within Accordant. And obviously, the relationship manager wants his client to have the best experience possible, but he also has the added lens of regulatory and compliance obligations that he needs to make sure he's meeting throughout the process. So they're the two personas I'm going to be playing in this demo. And while this is a financial services example, the building blocks that we've used to put this demo together are applicable across many different use cases. So you're going to be seeing data collection in a highly regulated industry, both internal and external to the organization. You're going to be seeing the generation of highly compliant, personalized, on-brand customer comms. You're going to be seeing the orchestration and automation of the entire process, including failover, two-way SMS, digital delivery. And then you're going to see us put all the digital artifacts we gather throughout the process into our immutable storage, so our archive for compliance purposes. So if you think about those building blocks, you might put them together in many different use cases. So it might be a claim assessor gathering additional information from a claimant or a third party in order to process a claim. It could be underwriting, reaching out to a financial advisor to get additional information in order to provide a quote for coverage. It could be a super fund looking for additional information from a beneficiary in order to process a benefit. So all the building blocks are there, and there's a lot of flexibility with the Conversation Cloud platform as to how you put those together. I'm going to show you one process, but hopefully it gives you an idea of how you might use the Conversation Cloud platform to address your own processes. So with that, I might hop into the demo. Okay, so I'm going to start this off as the relationship manager within Accordant. So I've got a Smart IQ form. I'm going to put some data into that form, and then I'm going to hand it off to my existing client to get their inputs. And you might have client-facing staff doing this kind of data collection today already, and maybe they're doing it via email, and maybe that's okay for now, but is that scalable? Is it compliant? What are you doing with that unstructured data that you're collecting today via email? How are you getting that back into your systems of record? Or maybe you've gone a step further and maybe you already have a form to do that structured data collection. But is it seamlessly integrated with your systems of record to both pre-populate the form and to push that collected data back into those systems? Or do you still have client-facing staff copying and pasting from one system to another or rekeying data? I don't need to worry about any of that with Smart IQ. So I am an authenticated user within the Accordant ecosystem. And I do have my form integrated with my system of record. So I can securely look up my client John's information in my system. And straight away, all the data that we already know about him is pre-populated in the form. So I don't need to rekey any of this data, and I certainly don't need to ask him to provide data that we already know about him. These are adaptive interviews, so you can see based on the selections I'm making, the subsequent questions are getting tailored. So just a few clicks, I can select what additional information I want of John, and my form is ready to go. One thing I will just highlight before I send to client, you'll notice his email address is @smartcommunications. So I did mention he has recently started a new job. He's no longer working at Smart Communications. So a couple of things are going to happen behind the scenes when I click send to client. So our orchestration layer Smart Path is going to kick in, and it's going to attempt to deliver that email to John at Smart Communications. That email is going to bounce. It's going to fail to deliver. That's okay, because the Smart Path is going to seamlessly fail over to SMS. So I'm John now, and I can go and look at my SMS, and I've received a text. Hey, Accordant here. You reached out to us about that financial plan. We tried to send you an email. That email's bounced. Can you provide a good email address where we can reach you? I'm John. Oh yeah, they probably have my old address on file. I'll give them my personal email address, and I'll watch out for that email that I now know is coming. Again, if you think about doing that via email, maybe your relationship manager has sent an email and that email has bounced. Now they've got an admin task to try and figure out, how do I contact John? Maybe they have to go and look up John in the system again, find alternative contact details for him, maybe play phone tag, introduce a bit of friction and inefficiency to the process. With my process, we've collected the new email address seamlessly, and we've now already sent an updated email to John. So you can see now John has received an email. He can be out and about in his phone. He's got a link to that Smart IQ form, and he's got the access code to access it securely. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that form. I'm going to use my access code to access it securely. And we can see here all the data that Accordant already know about John is there. I've made some of it read-only. We don't want him updating the account ID as an example. You can see his updated email address has already been fed back into the form. So John doesn't need to provide any information we already know about him. He can just provide the new information that we need. And you can see as he's providing that information, the form's doing some calculation for him. It's adding up that information as well. So we can put validations in to verify the information as it's getting collected. We can also do some calculations to help things along. So I'm just going to put in some of his details here. And again, a few clicks, and the form is adapting, only asking questions relevant to the information he's providing. And we can default values. Again, just doing whatever we can to make the process easier. So I'm entering that, and I'm going to go on to the next. Okay, so accordant now need a copy of my payslip. I don't have that on my phone. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to pick it up later when I'm on my laptop. So again, maybe John gets home later. He can go into his email. Again, he can securely access the form. And of course, all the data that I entered on my phone is there. And the form has adapted to whatever device I'm on. So I can go and provide some supporting documentation. I'm going to upload my payslip, drag and drop. And I can view that. Okay. Maybe add a comment. They want some ID as well. If I was on my phone still, I could just take a photo. I'm going to drag and drop my ID in here. And maybe you feed that into an ID verification service at this point. I'll ask for a specimen signature also, but I am going to e-sign. So we'll have the signature on file, and I will go ahead and e-sign. So again, a few things are going to happen now. Accordant has entered some information, John has entered some information. We're going to plug all that into a PDF generated by SmartCom, and we're going to send that off for e-signature. So I'm hooked into OneSpan. It might be DocuSign, Adobe Sign. I'm going to go ahead, accept the T's and C's, and you can see all the data that John has entered is there. The ID he's uploaded, specimen signature, his payslip. So if he's happy with all that, he can go ahead and sign. And again, the process might end there for John. Obviously, behind the scenes, Accordant need a copy of that signed document. They don't need John to send it back to them. Again, we're going to seamlessly retrieve that e-signed document, and we're going to push it into our Digital Archive Smart Hub. So I can go in as the relationship manager, and I can have a look in Smart Hub. And I can look up John. And we see I've got my PDF there with all the information that was entered. I can go down, I've got my specimen signature, I've got my payslip, my ID, the data, and the e-signature. And maybe John needs to access that later as well. So we've also sent him a text letting him know, hey, we've uploaded a copy of that signed document, so you can access that through the customer portal whenever you need. And again, the process could just end there. But maybe a few weeks from now, a few months from now, John comes into a bit more money. He's interested in another product. We've opened that two-way SMS communication, so he might just reach out via text. Hi, I'd like to know more about other product options, please. And he can send that off to Accordant. So again, SmartPath is going to pick that up with the two-way SMS, and it's going to try and direct traffic. So SmartPath's come back and said, great, what kind of product are you interested in? Super, managed funds, investments. John's going to select investments. And again, this could kick off another process. I'm going to cut it there, but great, thanks, John. One of our investment specialists will reach out and be in touch shortly. But that could be the start of a subsequent process. So with that, I might go back to the slides and just do a little recap. That's the end of the live demo. But what have we seen? So we've seen structured data collection, both internally and externally, as part of the process. We've seen the generation of on-brand, compliant customer comms. We've seen the automation and orchestration of the entire process. We've seen failover, digital delivery, and two-way SMS. And we've also seen it stored to our digital archive. And I did forget to show you the audit trail, but there is an audit trail of the archive. And we've seen that all working together seamlessly on the Conversation Cloud platform. But we've also seen the Conversation Cloud platform reaching out to third-party services. So we were able to reach out to the system of record to pre-populate the form. We were able to reach out to e-signature. So all those building blocks are available, and how you put them together for your particular processes is for you guys to have a think about. So with that, I will thank you for your time and hand back over to Clinton.
Fantastic. I said I was originally going to wrap up, but Leisha did a fantastic job. I said what you have seen is a 100% live experience that is not only just using an internet connection in a hotel, nothing against the W, but also SMS over terrestrial network, and you saw real time how quickly all of that interaction actually happened. So it's extraordinarily impressive, and I hope that you kind of can get a bit of a vision for the art of the possible. And we welcome you to speak to our guys at the Smart Bars and on the way out about what do those blocks all mean together. So I think that, thank you very much, Leisha, that was fantastic.